Hi, I'm Darnell with Wave Oven Recipes, and this is my 30-day review of the Ninja Foodi XL Pro Air Oven. Now, if you have not seen my initial review, then you definitely need to see that. That's where I do all the test cooking and all the different trials of things and just showing all the functions, everything that a lot of people may want to initially see about a cooker is in that review there. This is my 30-day review where I follow up and I basically talk to you about how it's been using this cooker, how it's been for my family, basically, you know, just telling you all the impressions and thoughts and how I feel about it after using it for some time. You know, sometimes when you first initially get a cooker, you may have initial thoughts and impressions, but after using it for some time, you kind of really settle in on how you feel about a cooker. At least I do. And so I like to follow up with a 30-day review to just talk to you about how things have been going. First, I want to say that this is a very good cooker. It has a very unique design, not just because it has buttons on the front there on the handle, but also it has a fan, an air fryer fan that's in the back. Most air fryer ovens, they have like a fan on the side. If they're like the toaster oven style, they might have a fan on the side. Some have a fan on the top, but not many. I don't know of, I can't really off the top of my head name another that has a fan in the back. And so it's a pretty unique design, and so I was pretty intrigued to see how it performed, and I think that it performs very well. That fan in the back helps things to go very well. And another thing about its unique features that is not as readily visible is that the door here is very well sealed. This door has very good sealant all the way around it. And so, let's see if I can... I want to kind of hold it up so you can see the sealant here on the door. But the door is just very well sealed. I feel that it's better sealed than probably most any other cooker I've used that has like a door on it. It's, you know, really well sealed in. And so that really helps for a lot of really even cooking. It helps to keep smoke from easily seeping out the door. It really helps as far as overall the cooking experience for things to turn out really good. And so I think that Ninja really put a lot of thought in the design of this cooker. They came up with a lot of unique things. They got the fan in the back. They've got a really good seal on the door, unlike ones that I've seen in other cookers. They really put a lot of thought to this, and I think it came out in a really nice quality product. And it cooks very well because of that. Now I do want to talk more about the 90-second preheat. I did cover that in my initial review, that the 90-second preheat does not reach the target temperature. So, you know, you could set it to preheat to 450 degrees or 400 degrees. It's going to do that 90-second preheat. It's going to be at about 150 degrees after the preheat's done. It never reaches that target temperature on a preheat. So basically, you know, the preheat, you know, at first I thought, well, maybe, you know, this is just kind of like some, you know, it seems kind of like a head fake by Ninja, that, you know, it doesn't reach that target temperature in the time that you set it for on the preheat. However, you know, I just put food in before the preheat even starts. I just put it in, you know, right away, and then just let the food set in there through the preheat, because you know it's only going to go 90 seconds anyway. And I found that things cook basically as quick as other hot side cooking like air fryer toaster ovens. It cooks as hot but doesn't need as much preheat time like something like the Cuisinart Chef's Convection toaster oven or, you know, other cookers. They will need a lot more time to preheat, and then you put your food in for your set time and it cooks it up. Well, this can match that as far as cooking time, but the preheat, that 90-second preheat, is all you need, and it still does it as far as the, you know, set cooking time. I'm talking about the set cooking time. When I say cooking time, like if you set something for 15 minutes, it's going to come out comparable as far as doneness, in my opinion, to something like the Cuisinart Chef's Convection toaster oven. And you do that for a full preheat so that it reaches its actual temp and then cook something 15 minutes. But if you do something 15 minutes in here with a 90-second preheat, the results are still, pretty much the same. I mean, I use the same cooking times and things turn out, the same. Same meat temperatures at the end. Things really come out really the same. And so with this Ninja, things are cooking overall faster because you're getting through that 90-second preheat real quick. Like I said, I just put the food in there and let it stay in there during that preheat because it's only 90 seconds and then it's going to just start cooking anyway. And so you're able to get things knocked out overall in faster time, but it just kind of does that quickie preheat. And that works for most things. I will say, and I'll further into this talk about just one thing that I found where you really got to do a actual real preheat to your desired temperature before you start cooking things. But for everything else, you can get by with the 90-second preheat and it's just fine. But do understand that it doesn't reach your target temperature in that 90-second preheat, but still the results and the outcome are going to be basically identical to what you get from other cookers that have that longer preheat. And like I said, I just put the food in there before the preheat starts, no problem. And with all that said, this cooker does a very good job at air frying, and it's able to keep up with other hotter side air fried toaster ovens like the Cuisinart Chef's Convection toaster oven and such. And it has less of a preheat time, so it can knock stuff out pretty quick and do some good air frying for you. And since it has the heating elements on the top and the bottom, it's got the air fryer fan in the back, everything gets done pretty well on all sides. You really don't have to do much flipping if you got a single layer, really don't have to do any flipping at all, and things are going to get a real nice even cook overall. And this Ninja is able to do well as a toaster. However, it's not smart enough to realize when it's already hot, like some other cookers are able to recognize when they're already hot when you start cooking some toast, and so they'll cut down on the toast cooking time to compensate for that. This cooker is not smart enough to recognize when it's already hot. So if you're not starting out cooking your toast cold, you've got to keep an eye on things and maybe just use a lighter darkness level to try and compensate yourself for it not being able to compensate for that. For baking, this cooks as fast. I mean, basically for the bake setting, they mimic a conventional oven perfectly. So it's going to take as long as it would in a conventional oven to do baking in this cooker. However, you've got the 90-second preheat, so you can just put whatever you're going to bake in before you even start cooking or preheating or whatever, and just let it set through the preheat and start cooking. It's going to take as long on the cook time as it would in a conventional oven. However, with this cooker, you've got the 90-second preheat, so it's going to preheat faster than a conventional oven. Also, because of its design, it's going to use a lot less energy, so it's going to be less costly on your energy bill. Also, it's not going to heat up your house like a conventional oven would, so it's going to, basically work out better for you using this type of cooker. I mean, I don't know many things that a lot of people cook that are so large that they need the large conventional oven, and I think, maybe the conventional oven was better for when it was the only game in town, and maybe you had, very large groups that you had to cook for, very large families you had to cook for, and, you needed that much size to do what you had to do to get the job done. But for most of us today, this is able to do very well, and it's going to cook, as far as baking, just like a conventional oven. I've found that you don't need to reduce the time or adjust the temperature at all for baking. It will cook just like a conventional oven on the bake setting. On other settings, it's going to go hotter, it's going to go faster, it's going to knock things out, like an air fryer toaster oven should, a hotter side air fryer toaster oven should. But on bake, it's basically just like an oven to me. And this cooker is great at roasting. It's great at roasting. I mean, things come out super moist, very tender. I mean, I feel like who needs a rotisserie when this roasts so well? And I mean that. I feel like, so what it doesn't have a rotisserie. It roasts very well, and so I don't need a rotisserie to get things super moist and the meat's super tender. It does a great job without the rotisserie to just do a nice roast. And so, you know, with this, I've been able to do roastings of food and everybody enjoys it. I cooked some of the chicken in it. They had, them and their family had nothing but great things to say about it. And so this thing does a great job at roasting. If you want to do a lot of roasting, this is a champ for sure. Now when it comes to cooking pizza in this cooker, there's something to keep in mind, especially with the frozen pizza, and really even with fresh pizza also. You need to make sure, and this is the one caveat when it comes to this 90-second preheat thing that this cooker does. Don't do that 90-second preheat thing when you're doing pizza. You want to go beyond that. You want to preheat for like your actual temperature. Let it, just set the cook time for like maybe 10 minutes longer than you would do the cook, or you would expect to do the cook. And then, you know, it'll get to the desired temperature, and then you can basically put your food in after it's been running for about 10 minutes. And then it's going to cook your pizza really nice overall. If you don't, your bottom's going to be a little bit soggy. But if you do that, it is going to cook up your pizza faster than like a conventional oven. I mean, for like a frozen pizza, you don't have to keep it in there for like 20 plus minutes. You know, you can let it do a real nice full preheat and then put it in there for like, you know, closer to a little over 10 minutes, and you're going to get a nice totally done pizza just fine, and it's going to turn out good. But you do have to let this thing really heat up real nice before you do it. The quickie preheat, their 90-second preheat, in my opinion, doesn't cut it when it comes to pizzas. And this Ninja Foodi XL Pro Air Oven is very good for reheating. Everything I reheat in it comes out real nicely, cooked throughout, and the inside's still moist. So it's good for when you just want to reheat your leftovers or things out of the fridge. It does a good job with that. Now the broil on this cooker, it works good, but in my opinion it doesn't do as much of a sear as I would like in other cookers that do broiling, like the Ninja Foodi Dual Basket Air Fryer or the Ninja Foodi XL Grill. Those are able to do a really nice broil that gives a really nice sear overall. This doesn't do in its broiling as much of a sear job as those other cookers do. And so really for broiling, you know, I wouldn't say that it's the absolute best at broiling. It does broil. It will broil things in the time, you know, it will cook the food within the time you would expect things to broil with any other cooker that has a broil feature. It's going to cook in about the same time, but it just doesn't have as much sear. Your cooking temperature is going to be, you know, about the same as it would with other cookers. It's just not going to be as nicely seared in my opinion. It just doesn't for broil. And that's just for broil. It just doesn't reach that level of sear that you would really like to get from a broil, but still it turns out decent. So, you know, if I'm cooking something like steaks and such in it, I'll just use the air fry. Turns out real nice. It gives a little bit more sear, and you know, it's still pretty good. I think overall it's still pretty good as far as searing overall. I just go ahead and use something like air fry or something else, but the broil feature just isn't really you know, hard-hitting broil is probably the best way I could put it. It's not a really hard-hitting broiler in my opinion, but it still does a job as far as broiling. It'll get the job done to broil things, but others just do broiling a little better. Now I haven't done the very low temp stuff like proofing dough and dehydration in this cooker, but it is a very larger capacity cooker, and it can get down to the lower temps, so it should be able to do your dehydration and your proofing of dough without any issues there. I've also found that this cooker does a good job cooking foods from frozen. Never had a problem throwing anything at it that's frozen and cooking it up just as I would in other cookers from frozen. And the product at the end is very nice. You know, it may have nice crispy exterior, have a real nice moist interior. So it's a good cooker if you like to cook things from frozen. I'd seen in an earlier review that I did of this cooker, there were some concerns about the buttons and things, the controls on the front of the handle. I'll say that that's no problem at all. Works really nice. The buttons are not sticking out. They're kind of flat. When you open the door and you've got to put the handle down on like a cabinet, yeah, those buttons might be kind of down on the cabinet or something, but it's not a problem. I haven't had any problems with it. They haven't gotten smudged or anything get messed up at all. The buttons and controls on the handle makes for a real nice, efficient design. I've got no problem with it, had no problem with it, got no complaints about it myself. And this cooker is not complicated to use. It's very easy to understand, very intuitive interface to work with. And so when you come at it and you want to do your cooking and different types of things, you don't have to do a lot of guesswork. You don't have to run to the manual to try and figure it out. You can figure it out pretty well, and you can basically give some other, if someone else comes and uses it, you give them some basic instruction on how to use it, to, navigate the functions, no problem. It's a very easy to use cooker, easy to understand. Now, I've already talked about how the door is very well sealed, how things cook very well overall. And because of the design of this cooker, I've found that I don't have to spin things. I've never had to really spin anything that I've been cooking in this thing. Everything turns out pretty good without spinning. So I think that's pretty good, that everything cooks even without a need to, do that spin things around, like, when you're cooking like a pizza or something, you got to spin it around. And a lot of cookers like the NuWave Brio and others, you got to spin it around, or one side's going to cook more than the other side. I mean, I haven't had to spin anything. I don't spin. I just put the stuff in, I set the time, and you kind of like set it, forget it. And it cooks even, and everything's done nice. So, no need to spin from my experiences. Overall, this cooker is pretty quiet. I mean, when you're doing air frying, it does kick up the fan noise a little bit, but it's not as loud as most typical air fryers, and it's more to the quieter, and it's not as quiet as like the Cuisinart Chef's Convection Toaster Oven or NuWave Brio, but I mean, anything is quieter than, say, like the Emeril Lagasse Power Air Fry 360 regular size or XL, but still all the same, it's quieter than regular air fryers and such. It's more on the quieter end as far as noise, not very loud. And the auto pause when you open the door is a great feature. I mean, it's awesome. You can open that door, time stops right away. You don't miss a beat. You can get the door closed again and pick right up where you left off. I like the auto sensing as far as opening the door and it auto pausing. That's a pretty nice feature for this cooker. I kind of wish every cooker had auto pause when you open the door. And as I mentioned, because of the nice sealing on the door, there's no smoke issues. I've cooked up different stuff, and sometimes I'll see some smoke inside the cooker, but it doesn't have a whole lot of issues with smoke emitting out. It's able to hold things in pretty well until you open the door. And that seal, when you open it, you might see some smoke come out if things are smoky in there. But this type of cooker doesn't disturb my smoke alarms or anything like that. It's able to hold the smoke in pretty good. Now, as far as cleaning, I found that this cooker overall is easy to clean. Things like the crisper basket I'll put into the dishwasher and it cleans up just fine in the dishwasher. The other accessories I'll wash by hand, even though you can put them in the dishwasher. They say that shortens the life. I just like to wash those by hand. But I found, if you can see, on the back wall, that back wall oddly holds stains more than probably most any other part of the cooker. Sure, the drip pan, I don't really invest a lot of effort into trying to deep clean a drip pan. And the back wall seems like it oddly, compared to other cookers, seems to catch more stains, probably because the fan's back there. most cookers, you don't get a whole lot of stainage, in my opinion, on that back wall, but this one, it's got the fan and all back there. It gets a bit more stains being stuck on the back wall. And you do have to remember to take the fan guard out and clean that. And I'd say anytime you're doing like air frying or anything afterwards, definitely get that fan cover out and clean it. I put it in a dishwasher usually with that crisper basket, and it cleans up real nice. The fan guard cleans up really nice in the dishwasher is what I found. Now we've reached that point that some of you have been waiting for, where you do comparisons with other cookers. And I'm going to make sure that I do read from my notes in this part to make sure that I don't miss any of the details that I would like to tell you as far as some of these comparisons, because some of you know, if you're a long-time viewer of this channel, you know, there's a lot of reviews of a lot of different cookers on this channel. This channel has literally hundreds of videos. Anybody who's not been to this channel before, I mean, check out the material that's here. There's reviews of all different types of cookers here. But this is where I kind of give my thoughts on comparisons with a lot of the other popular cookers out there that I've used. And so we're going to start this with comparing this cooker to the Emeril Lagasse Power Air Fry Oven 360 XL. And this cooker is a little wider, so it can hold the 13-inch bake pan with no handles with less issues. And it can hold almost as much as the Emeril 360 XL overall, but not quite as much, because this one has the fan in the back and with that guard, so it's like you can't get as much, I guess, from front to back in. And this cooker also doesn't have any rotisserie, but it can cook faster than the 360 XL, and the Ninja is a better quality build. It's just a more sturdy quality build. And so it has no noise issues like the Emeril 360, and like I said, the roast comes out real nice. So I prefer this Ninja overall compared to that Emeril 360 line of cooker. And not having those fan noise issues at all is really cool. I mean, it makes some noise, but not much of anything. Definitely not as much as any of the Emeril 360 cookers. Now, compared to the NuWave Brio XL Smart Oven Air Fryer, this Ninja is bigger overall. It cooks much hotter and faster overall. And even though it has no meat probe, it has no programs, it has no stage cooking, but it cooks better overall. It cooks faster. It doesn't have the smoke issues that the NuWave Brio has. And, you know, it doesn't usually need as much of a preheat time as the NuWave Brio has. It definitely doesn't need as much of a preheat time as the NuWave Brio has. And so I definitely like the Ninja better without question. Now this Ninja Foodi XL Pro Air Oven versus the NuWave Brio 14Q. This Ninja is bigger. It cooks better overall, in my opinion, even though the Brio can do a better job on a sear, for sure, than the Ninja. But still overall, cooking various things, the Ninja comes out better in my opinion. And with the heating elements on the top and bottom, you get more even of a cook overall, you know, regardless of whatever you're cooking. Also, it can bake better. And even though it has no meat probe and it has no program, I still prefer this Ninja overall just because you've got the size, you've got the overall just cooking better, baking better. It's larger, so you can get your nice big bake pan in there. And so you can do a lot more versatile things with this Ninja. And so between the two, I prefer the Ninja. Now this Ninja versus the Cuisinart Digital Air Fryer Toaster Oven, although the Cuisinart can definitely sear better, this Ninja is bigger and able to bake and roast better, and able to air fry overall just as good in my opinion. And it may take a little extra time in the Ninja to do your air frying just because of its size, but still the quality is very good. And so I prefer the Ninja overall. Now this Ninja Foodi XL Pro Air Oven versus what has been the champ for me, the Cuisinart Chef's Convection Toaster Oven. The Ninja is bigger. It can cook the same as far as cooking time, but it has a faster preheat. So you're going to get done a little quicker. And with, as far as cooking times, the Cuisinart Chef's Convection Toaster Oven needs a longer preheat to achieve, in my opinion, the same results as this Ninja can achieve with its 90-second preheat. So you are able to get your preheat knocked out a little quicker. Also, this Ninja holds smoke better than the Cuisinart Chef's Convection Toaster Oven. And I also prefer the results in comparison when it comes to like roasting a chicken. I prefer chickens roasted in this Ninja overall for sure. And so with that said, my personal opinion is that the Ninja is my personal favorite now. It's my new favorite cooker of all, overall. So there you go. But I did want to mention in the video description you can find referral links for like this cooker and other ways to help this channel through commissions that don't cost you a penny extra. Also, there are other ways like joining as a member and such. And so with that, you can also get other recipes and things at my blog, superwaveovenrecipes.com. So be sure to check out my blog. You can get plenty of recipes that use in cookers like this and others. And with all that said, I just want to say if you did like this video, please do give it a thumbs up. Share the video with a friend, leave your comments, subscribe, hit that notification bell, and good eating.